Welcome to Shaq's house. Shaq's house. That's our Shaq. You're now in Shaq's house.
Hey, what's going on, Shaq Houses? How you doing? It's your boy, the one and only Shaq House here. Alright, this is what I got for you this week. I've been thinking about this comparison ever since the 90s, because these two characters, they look similar to one another. They got similar bestial mutations, but they're not the same. They don't got the same power. They have not even been with the same groups. Who are we talking about? Feral, an X-Force creation, and Wolfsbane, one of the original New Mutants. We're going to juxtapose him with some mutant lycanthropes as well, too, and juxtapose Feral mutation with a similar mutation as well. So, hope you enjoy. Check it out.
Feral. Feral's mutation is a bestial appearance with enhanced physical attributes. Her body is covered in orange-white colored fur. She has pointed ears, razor-sharp talons on each finger and toe, pointed canine teeth, and a 5-foot-long prehensile tail that aids in her balance. She also possesses enhanced strength, speed, agility, healing, reflexes, predatory instincts, and superhumanly acute senses, especially of sight and smell. Her abilities make her an excellent tracker and hunter. Some fun facts. Maria Callasantos was the second of 4 children, born to a poor Puerto Rican family in the South Bronx, and she had a tragic childhood. Her father left after her youngest sibling was born, and then he died of an overdose. And Maria was quite bitter and angry at his departure and blamed her younger siblings for it, even having a role in each of their deaths. For example, her youngest sister, Carolina, she died after falling down a flight of stairs, and her brother, Mateo, he died after falling off the roof of their apartment building, and Maria was present in both instances. Maria's mother, Marcella, later hooked up with a man named Harry Bellinger, who got her hooked on coke. And later, Harry, he tried to rape Maria's older sister, Lucia, and then Maria killed him. At that point, both Maria and Lucia, they both now fully manifested their animal mutations. Shortly after that, they joined the Morlocks, taking the names Feral and Thornn. But Feral, she ran away to join the initial incarnation of X-Force, but her volatile personality made her a barely tolerated presence. Long story short, she defected to the Mutant Liberation Front, then went to jail for the murders of her mother and siblings and mother's boyfriend, got infected with the legacy virus, got cured of it, was depowered on M-Day, killed by Sabretooth, resurrected by Selene during Necrotia, and then finally was resurrected on Krakoa. Wolfsbane. Wolfsbane is a mutant lycanthrope, able to transform from a human into a wolf or a series of transitional stages between the two species. Originally, she changed into a wolf quite frequently for battle and also relied on only a single transitional form, similar to a typical werewolf, where she had heightened strength, speed, agility, endurance, reflexes, and razor-sharp claws. But in all of her states, she possesses accelerated healing and heightened senses, enabling her to hear whispers across a noisy room and perceive the infrared and ultraviolet portions of the electromagnetic spectrum, track people by scent, perceive changes in their emotional states by monitoring their scent and heat patterns. In all of her forms, she retains her human intelligence, but her thought processes become more animalistic in direct proportion to her lupine forms, feeling fewer doubts and acting more instinctively. After being converted into a docile mutate by the Genosian gene engineer, Wolfsbane managed to exert her own free will only by staying out of her full human form. So instead, Rahne began using her power to assume multiple wolfen states that blended different levels of human and wolf characteristics. She could look completely normal except for a thin layer of brown fur, to assuming forms with an extended canine snout, the elongated feet of a dog, different types of tails, various shapes and sharpness of her claws, etc. Her strength, agility, and other physical abilities all fluctuated depending on the form that she was in. And through the aid of the villain Haven, Rahne was cured of the mutate process and able to return to her human appearance without becoming a mindless mutate. She lost her powers for a period of time due to the effect of Forge's neutralizer gun, but they were later restored by the healing mutant known as Elixir. She later underwent a secondary mutation which allowed her to mass shift into a full-size pack of wolves. Thus far, she has divided herself into a set of 5 wolves, each possessing the same abilities of Rahne Prime in her wolf form and seemingly capable of independent thought, feeling, and action, though it is reasonable to assume that Rahne is spreading her consciousness among the 5. Some fun facts. Rahne Sinclair is a Scottish mutant who was raised by a fire and brimstone preacher by the name of Reverend Craig, who hated her not just because she was a mutant, but because she was in fact his illegitimate daughter. Rahne was also a founding member of the New Mutants and later became part of Excalibur, different iterations of X-Factor, the X-Men School as part of the teaching staff, and later the Black Ops iteration of X-Force. She's had many relationships and loves: Doug Ramsey, Rictor, the Asgardian wolf prince Himhari, and a crush on Alex Summers, aka Havoc. She grew up repressed and edgy about sexuality, and it took years to bring her out of her shell with a more wild, aggressive demeanor, and she even shed her Scottish accent. She was a character in the abysmal 2020 film, The New Mutants, and she also appeared in the 90s X-Men animated series twice. She has a bond with her OG New Mutants teammate Dani Moonstar, as the latter's animal telepathy allowed them to share a psychic rapport when Rahne was fully shifted into her wolf form. Okay, let's do a little bit of compare and contrast. How do Wolfsbane and Feral compare? Well, for one, Rahne's mutant power is lycanthropy, which is actually defined as having a mental disorder that makes you believe you're a wolf. But in this case, Wolfsbane's case, that belief is real. Basically, she shapeshifts into a full wolf or a wolf-human hybrid, i.e. a werewolf. But in her full wolf form, she's much stronger and with greater senses, speed, and agility than a regular wolf. She was further mutated during the events of the Extinction Agenda, becoming a Genosian mutate with enhancements to her power. For example, she briefly demonstrated the power to become an 8-foot-tall, 400-pound super werewolf with superhuman strength and durability, but that change was quickly forgotten about when the crossover was done. Other mutant lycanthropes that she would compare to are Vivisector from X-Force and Wolfcub from the X-Men students. And like Wolfsbane, Vivisector could shift into a werewolf, but he couldn't go full wolf. Additionally, his transformation into his wolfen form didn't appear to completely heighten his senses, as he still wore prescription glasses and retained his human intelligence like Rahne, but didn't seem to have a full bestial instinct. Now Wolfcub, he's in a permanent werewolf form, or forms I should say, because his look has varied over the years with a random mix of immature wolf to fully developed werewolf appearances. He also possessed certain bestial instincts, which when combined with his looks, makes him more akin to Feral. Just to clarify, Feral may resemble a werewolf, but she's actually a cat, feline. Her and her older sister Thornn, they have the same mutation, though Thornn is brown fur, and Maria's mutation manifested much faster. But Feral, she's not like Cat's Eye from the Hellions. No, she cannot shapeshift into a human form or even a full cat form. This savage Boricua weircat, that's what we got. That's what she got in the X-Gene lottery. Now Wolfsbane is certainly more powerful, but Feral, she gets the crown for viciousness. And Rahne and Maria, they have fought before during the X-Cutioner song crossover, where Rahne displayed an animalistic savagery that surprised many, including me. They were both teens at the time, but combined puberty and sexual maturation, and we see that clearly they're both dogs in heat. They both have fiery tempers, but Rahne has been the more mature and more accepted of the two. And even on Krakoa, Feral felt isolated but made friends with Marrow after learning that they're both former Morlocks. And they both had tragic pasts, Feral especially, and then she gets topped with a permanent cat mutation on top of that. You know, under the right writer, Feral could have had the greater character development that she needed after Fabian Nicieza stopped with her. Also, look at other mutants who transmorph into animal states. The Ursa Major, he's a Russian who can become a bipedal grizzly bear. Shrew, formerly of Hell's Bells, she can become a giant rat, just like the Grand High Witch from the Witches. And Shark Girl, she's a Brazilian girl who can turn herself into Jaws. Each one of them, they run the risk of losing human reasoning and having their animal instincts take over if they stay in their mutant animal forms for too long. But between Feral and Wolfsbane, Wolfsbane wins. I mean, Feral is basically a Puerto Rican Sabretooth, completely given into her bloodlust and so full of rage and anger. But Wolfsbane, she's got many different forms to take to beat Maria and can use her emotions against her. So Wolfsbane, she wins. Alright, Shackhousers, that's what I got for you this week. Tune in next week, I got something special for you then. But until then, you have a good week. Later!
Mansion, apartment.
Shack house. Yes!